Assessing patients with nutritional and gastrointestinal disorders. The human digestive tract is a tube with specialized regions and organs between the mouth and the anus. Food is ingested, mechanically processed, and chemically digested to small molecules that are absorbed. Indigestible remains are eliminated. Part of the digestive tract produces digestive enzymes. The air passage and food passage cross in the pharynx because the trachea is ventral to the esophagus. Swallowing occurs in the pharynx and is a reflex reaction. During swallowing, the air passage is usually blocked off by the soft palate and uvula, and the trachea moves under the epiglottis to cover the glottis opening to the windpipe. Breathing and swallowing cannot occur at the same time. The esophageal acidity test requires a patient to be NPO at least 8 hours before the test. The patient may have conscious sedation but will not require general anesthesia. The test can be performed on an outpatient status and will not require extended hospitalization. The esophagus is a muscular tube that conducts food through the thoracic cavity and diaphragm into the stomach. The entrance of the esophagus to the stomach is marked by a constriction called a sphincter. The sphincter must relax in order for food to enter the stomach. The sphincter prevents food from backing up into the esophagus. Peristalsis begins in the esophagus. This collapsed tube moves the bolus of food downward after swallowing occurs. Heartburn is a burning pain when acidic stomach contents enter the esophagus. Peristalsis is a rhythmic contraction that pushes food through the digestive tract. When peristalsis occurs with no food present, it produces a sensation of a lump in the throat. When vomiting occurs, a contraction of the abdominal muscles and diaphragm propels the contents of the stomach upward through the esophagus. The sphincter between the esophagus and the stomach is not as developed as a true sphincter, but it is still referred to as such. No chemical digestion occurs in the esophagus. By the time food is ready to leave the stomach, it has been processed into a thick liquid called chyme. A walnut-sized muscular valve at the outlet of the stomach called the pylorus keeps chyme in the stomach until it reaches the right consistency to pass into the small intestine. Chyme is then squirted down into the small intestine where digestion of food continues so the body can absorb the nutrients into the bloodstream. Long-term use of nonsteroidals for chronic pain can precipitate peptic ulcer formation through the inhibition of prostaglandins. Ulcers are usually caused by a bacterial infection. The wall of the stomach is protected by a thick layer of mucus secreted by goblet cells in its lining. If by chance hydrochloric penetrates this mucus, the wall can begin to break down and an ulcer result. An ulcer is an open sore in the wall caused by the gradual disintegration of tissue. It now appears that most ulcers are due to bacterial infection, Helicobacter pylori, that impairs the ability of goblet cells to produce protective mucus. Pepsin and hydrochloric acid begin protein digestion. Pepsin breaks proteins into smaller polypeptide fragments. Parietal cells of the stomach secrete hydrochloric acid and produce intrinsic factor, which aids in the absorption of vitamin B12. The small intestine. There are 3 regions: the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. The small intestine receives chyme from the stomach. It receives secretions from liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. Following digestion, most nutrient absorption occurs in the jejunum and the ileum of the small intestine. The folded surface of the small intestine are covered with finger-like projection called villi. Within each villus there is a network of blood capillaries and lymph vessels that absorb and carry away nutrients. Cell surfaces of villi will have more projection called microvilli. These provide an enormous surface area for absorption of nutrient molecules. Slow, wave-like contractions of smooth muscle move the chyme along this surface. Nutrient molecules are absorbed into the cells lining the small intestine. Most products of carbohydrate and protein digestion are absorbed in the capillaries and the villi. Molecules of undigested fat are absorbed by lymph vessels. The small intestine, averaging about 6 meters in length, it's about 20 feet, is small in diameter. The first 25 centimeters is the duodenum that receives bile from the gallbladder and pancreatic juice containing pancreatic lipase and trypsin for digestion of protein to peptides, as well as lipase for digestion of fat to glycerol and fatty acids. Pancreatic juice contains sodium bicarbonate, that is the basic and neutralizes the acidic chyme. Bile emulsifies fats. Emulsification causes fat droplets to disperse in the water. The large intestine. is made up of 3 parts. The cecum is a pouch at the beginning of the large intestine that joins the small intestine to the large intestine. This transition area expands in diameter, allowing food to travel from the small intestine to the large. The appendix, a small, hollow, finger-like pouch, hangs at the end of the cecum. It has no value in the digestive process. The colon extends from the cecum up the right side of the abdomen, across the upper abdomen, and then down the left side of the abdomen, finally connecting to the rectum. The colon has 3 parts: the ascending colon, the transverse colon, which absorbs fluids and salts, and the descending colon, which holds the resulting waste. Bacteria in the colon help to digest the remaining food products. The rectum is where feces are stored until they leave the digestive system through the anus as a bowel movement. The liver. The pancreas, liver, and gallbladder are accessory organs of digestion. Their secretions assist digestion. Bile is stored in the gallbladder until it is needed. The pancreas produces enzymes that help digest proteins, fats, and carbs. It also makes a substance that neutralizes stomach acid. These enzymes and bile travel through special channels called ducts directly into the small intestine, where they help to break down food. The liver also plays a major role in the handling and processing of nutrients, which are carried to the liver in the blood from the small intestine. The liver produces bile, which helps the body absorb fat. The liver's role in carbohydrate metabolism involves the storage and release of glycogen as energy requirements change. An increase in energy requirements results in the release of glycogen. Accessory organs are not part of the digestive tube but produce enzymes and other substances that assist digestion. These 3 accessory organs send secretions to the duodenum via ducts. Bilirubin is derived from the breakdown of hemoglobin, the red pigment of red blood cells. The endocrine part of the pancreas is composed of the islets of Langerhans, with alpha cells producing glucagon and beta cells producing insulin. The gallbladder. The cholesterol content of bile can come out of a solution and form crystals. If the crystals grow in size, they form gallstones. The mildest and most common symptom of gallbladder disease is intermittent pain called biliary colic, which occurs either in the mid or right portion of the upper abdomen. Symptoms may be fairly nonspecific. A typical attack has several features. A primary symptom is typically a steady, gripping, or gnawing pain in the right upper abdomen near the rib cage, which can be severe and radiate to the upper back. Some patients with biliary colic experience the pain behind the breastbone. The passage of the stones from the gallbladder may block the common bile duct and cause obstructive jaundice. Then the gallbladder must be removed. Pancreas. The pancreas is located deep in the abdomen, sandwiched between the stomach and the spine. It lies partially behind the stomach, and the other part is nestled in the curve of the duodenum. Because the pancreas is deep location, tumors are rarely palpable. It also explains why many symptoms of pancreatic cancer often do not appear until the tumor grows large enough to interfere with the function of nearby structures such as the stomach, duodenum, liver, or gallbladder. The sequence of palpation should be to palpate any tender or painful areas last to prevent the patient from tensing abdominal muscles because of pain. A stone in the common bile duct causes reflux of pancreatic secretions into the pancreas. The pancreatic tissue is not designed for exposure to pancreatic juices. The pancreatic secretions cause an autodigestion of the pancreatic tissues. Neural control of digestion is controlled largely by the parasympathetic nervous system. Activation of the parasympathetic nervous system results in secretion of digestive juices, increased motility of the stomach, and slowing down movement of food from the stomach to the small intestine. The stimuli, thought, chewing, or taste of food activates the parasympathetic nervous system, resulting in increased release of mucus, hydrochloric acid, and pepsin in the stomach. The goal of this is to prepare the stomach for oncoming food. Gastrin is secreted by the stomach, stimulates parietal cells to secrete hydrochloric acid and chief cells to secrete pepsinogen. The secretin secreted in the duodenum stimulates production of bicarbonate to neutralize acidic chyme. Cholecystokinin, secreted by small intestine and stimulates contraction of gallbladder and secretion of pancreatic juice enzymes. Gastric inhibitory peptide, secreted by small intestine and inhibits gastric acid secretion and stimulates secretion of insulin. Vitamins A and E are fat-soluble vitamins in that they are stored in the fat cells of the body. Excessive amounts of the fat-soluble vitamins can lead to toxicity. The vitamins and minerals are substances that are found in foods we eat. Vitamin D in milk helps the bones. Vitamin A in carrots helps you see at night. Vitamin C in oranges helps the body heal if you get a cut. B vitamins in leafy green vegetables help the body make protein and energy. Vitamins hang out in water and fat, and there are two types of vitamins, fat-soluble and water-soluble. When you eat foods that contain fat-soluble vitamins, the vitamins are stored in the fat tissues in the body and in the liver. They wait around in the body fat until the body needs them. Fat-soluble vitamins are happy to stay stored in the body for a while. Some stay for a few days, some up to 6 months. And then when it's time for them to be used, special carriers in the body take them where they're needed. Vitamins A, D, E, and K are all fat-soluble vitamins. Water-soluble vitamins are different. When you eat foods that have water-soluble vitamins, the vitamins don't get stored as much in the body. Instead, they travel through the bloodstream. Whatever the body doesn't use comes out when you urinate. So these kinds of vitamins need to be replaced often because they don't stick around. This crowd of vitamins includes vitamin C and the big group of B vitamins. B1, also known as thiamine. B2, also known as riboflavin. Another one is niacin. B6, also known as pyridoxine. Folic acid is one. B12, also known as cobalamin. We have biotin and pantothenic acid. Macro and trace. The two kinds of minerals are macrominerals and trace minerals. Macro means large in the Greek, and the body needs larger amounts of macrominerals than trace minerals. The macro mineral group is made up of calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, sodium, potassium, chloride, and sulfur. A trace of something means that there's only a little of it. So even though the body needs trace minerals, it just needs just a tiny bit of each. Trace minerals include iron, manganese, copper, iodine, zinc, cobalt, fluoride, and selenium. Now, calcium is the top micromineral when it comes to the bones. This mineral helps build strong bones so you can do everything from standing up straight to scoring that winning goal. It also helps you build strong, healthy teeth for chomping on tasty food. Can you tell I'm hungry? So which foods are eaten in calcium? Dairy products such as milk, cheese, and yogurt, canned salmon, sardines with bones, leafy green vegetables such as broccoli, calcium-fortified foods from orange juice to cereals and crackers. Now, iron. The body needs iron to transport oxygen from the lungs to the rest of the body. Iron helps because it's important to the formation of hemoglobin, which is part of the red blood cells that carry oxygen throughout the body. Which foods are rich in iron? Meat, especially red meat, such as beef, tuna, and salmon. Eggs, beans, baked potatoes with skin, dried fruits like raisins, leafy green vegetables like broccoli, whole and enriched grains like wheats or oats. Now, potassium keeps the muscles and nervous system working properly. Do you know the blood and body tissues such as muscles contain water? Well, they do, and potassium helps make sure the right amount of water is just right. Foods rich in potassium include the bananas, broccoli, tomatoes, potatoes with skins, leafy green vegetables like broccoli, citrus fruits like oranges, dried fruits, legumes such as beans, peas, lentils, and peanuts. Now, zinc helps the immune system, which is the body's system for fighting off illnesses and infection. It also helps with cell growth and helps heal wounds such as cuts. So what foods are rich in zinc? Beef, pork, lamb, legumes such as beans, peas, lentils, and peanuts. The body mass index is a number calculated from a person's weight and height. Body mass index provides a reliable indicator of body fat for most people and is used to screen for weight categories that may lead to health problems.